Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live coverage of New Glen's NG-1 mission launching from Space Coast, that is from Launch Complex 36 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. Now, today, on its second attempt after the 13th of January's initial attempt scrub. Now, we hope you all are doing fine and excited about this much anticipated launch. My name is Dipto Maitra. I will be the host providing commentary for today's mission launch, and you are watching AstroYonder live.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around.
Houston, we see a nominal MECO. Welcome to space.
Now, we are awaiting for the webcast to begin. I guess they will be able to launch today. And I don't know, I'm not specifically sure because the weather report from the 45th Weather Squadron said that they will be having 60% probability of violation, and moreover they will be, for the booster recovery conditions, they will be having moderate risk. So still, when Blue Origin made the effort to start the propellant load, which is now done, hopefully they will be launching today. And also would like to welcome everyone over here. Would like to welcome Pop Tripika, who joined us much earlier, one of our moderator here, and thanks for reposting and sharing our tweet. Not our tweet, you shared our stream, so thanks for that. And also welcome Simon and Starship Flight Test 7-day. I am not understanding what you meant by that. Anyways, as meanwhile we are waiting for the webcast to begin. We are keeping a track, and I place the webcast here also so that we can notice, excuse me, so that we can notice that when the webcast is beginning. Meanwhile, let's discuss something about the rocket. Here is on your screen a slide to compare where the New Glenn stands among the other rockets. On the right hand side with a question mark on top, that New Glenn's third stage variant. At least for that we don't have any specific height info, so I placed it with a question mark. Nearly in the center towards the right hand side, you can see the New Glenn is standing tall next to Delta Heavy rocket, and it's just 0.3 meters less than the SLS Block 1. Now today's mission, as we all know, is the NG-1 for the New Glenn's first inaugural launch, and there is no mean to like there is no meaning to say first inaugural launch. It's a inaugural launch and will carry a blue ring pathfinder as its first manifested payload, launching from Launch Complex 36 from the East Coast. Now, as per the Blue Origin's update, the 13th Jan scrub was due to ice forming in a purge line on an auxiliary power unit, which powers some of the hydraulic systems. And they also mentioned that the Team Blue tried to mitigate the issue by adjusting their lift-off time 5-6 times, but ultimately ended up in a scrub. But what does this means in easy word? It's like ice in the purge line forms due to the sub-zero temperature of cryogenic fuel tanks, where water vapor in the atmosphere reacts with the cold surface, leading to ice deposition. But today they mentioned that the vehicle is looking good and they are ready for the liftoff. Now we are waiting for a New Glenn liftoff at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, 6 hours UTC from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for Blue Origin launching NG-1 mission following a southeast trajectory. Now about Launch Complex 36. Back in the day, Launch Complex 36 was the pad which used to serve for the Atlas rockets supporting NASA and the US Air Force from 1962 to 2005. And in 2015, Blue Origin took over Launch Complex 36 to build a fresh launch site for its orbital rockets. A total of 145 launches have been conducted, including launches from now demolished pads Launch Complex 36A and Launch Complex 36B. And in the near future, Launch Complex 36 will also witness the Blue Origin's new Armstrong rocket variant launches, which will be the crewed launches. Now, before moving on to the mission details, firstly, on behalf of AstroYonder's team and moderators, we express our heartfelt gratitude to everyone for being a part of today's launch. We really appreciate you being here. Big thanks to our amazing YouTube community for being a part of today's launch as we provide detailed coverage of space launches, complete with extensive stats and thorough insights. Also, just a reminder, it's me running the show for our launches. So if we hit any technical issues, you don't need to worry. I will do my best to walk you through the New Glenn's rocket's maiden launch, probably happening in 40 minutes, 23 seconds and counting. Now on your screen is the details about the New Glenn rocket. At the top of the rocket, we got the payload fairing. It's like a protective shell for the payload on board, shielding it before and during the flight. This fairing is 7 meters, that is 23 feet wide, and yes, it's the biggest one as of now, and works seamlessly with the modern spacecraft thanks to the fixed adapter and the industry standard interfaces which Blue Origin adapted on this new rocket variant. Now About the propulsion, this is where New Glenn really flexes. Blue Origin has been perfecting engine technology for over a decade, as we all know, starting with the BE3 engine and that bad boy, which is to power the New Shepard and has many hours of runtime since 2010. It's the reliable, reusable, and it can throttle down. So for New Glenn's first stage, though, they are stepping it with the BE4 engine, which is flight proven. We all know it is being used in the Vulcan rocket, and also Vulcan did made it through the certification flights. So BE4 engines, you can say it's a well flight proven engine now, which cranks out a massive 2400 kilonewton, or you can say 550,000 pounds of thrust. It burns liquid oxygen, that is LOX, and liquefied nitrogen gas, LNG, basically methane, which is cheap, clean, and easy to work with. And hopefully this will be a little environmental friendly as well. Also, it does not even need to have helium for pressurization, so that's also a good sign for towards the environmental friendliness of this vehicle, thanks to its autogenous tank pressurization. Now for the second stage, that's powered by two vacuum 3EU engines, each a high performance version of the BE3. Together they produce, the two of them, they produce 1060 kilonewton, that is 240,000 pounds of thrust using the LOX, liquid oxygen, and liquid hydrogen over here, also known as LH2. This setup is perfect for in-space efficiency and delivering serious power for the mission beyond low Earth orbit. Right now, Blue Origin is they are quite confident about the test they conducted on both the BE4 and BE3 engines, which of those tests were carried out in the West Texas. Excuse me. And in addition to the BE4 and BE3U engines, Blue Origin also manufactures the BE7 engines for the Blue Moon lunar landers and New Shepard's BE3 PM engine. So now let's dive deep into the details as we wait for the webcast to begin. Now, if we look around the first stage, the New Glenn's first stage booster is a reusable powerhouse standing at an impressive 57.5 meter tall, about 188.5 feet, with a tank diameter of 7 meters, which is 23 feet. And this diameter is all over the vehicle. It's similar for the payload fairing, as I mentioned before. This stage is split into three main sections: the aft, also known as AFT, mid, and forward. Booster with tail number booster GS1 SN001, also named as So You Are Telling Me a Chance, which is named in reference to Blue Origin's intention to attempt landing, recovery, and potentially reuse for the company's first GS1, that is the first stage. And the booster is designed to be reusable for a minimum of 25 launches. The AFT section or the aft section is where the magic happens. It holds 7 BE4 engines that run on liquid oxygen, that is LOX, and liquefied natural gas, that is LNG. Together, these engines pack a punch with a massive 17,100 kilonewton, or you can say in another way, that is 3.8 million pounds of thrust at sea level. The AFT module, or the aft module of the booster, contains 6 hydraulic actuated legs as well, which will deploy seconds before a planned landing. The vehicle is powered by 7 of Blue Origin's BE4 engines. The most powerful liquefied gas LNG fueled oxygen rich stage combustion engine ever flown. LNG is, as I mentioned before, is a clearer burning and higher performing than kerosene based fuels, and the 7BE4 engines generate 3.8 pounds of thrust. The BE4 engines are not only restartable but also offer precise control of their thrust, which is crucial for slowing down during re-entry and nailing the smooth landing which Blue Origin is planning. Plus, they have built the first stage for long duration missions as well. The 8.5 meter wide, that is 28 feet engine skirt around the first stage is shielding the engines from the intense heat and forces during re-entry. And as I mentioned that and those skirt only, that engine skirt only, the 6 landing legs are tucked inside, which will be deployed prior to the touchdown. The midsection No, Poptripika, actually I started because they started the stream, that's why. Although we didn't receive any proper confirmation from their end. It is just written that the webcast will begin here 20 minutes before the launch. So let's hope that they will be. So for that I started the stream. Meanwhile, we wait for the stream to begin. Let me just give an overview of the vehicle. So where I was left behind, that the midsection of the first stage booster is all about the storage. This is where the LNG or the LOX oxidizer tanks are located. You can see on the screen they looks like they are of equal like storage capacity, although the specific details about that is not known to us, and it's not mentioned, I guess, anywhere, because I tried hard to find the ratio of the fuel mixture for both the first and second stages, which I failed to get. So maybe Poptripika, that can be a reason, and but good if they would have started it 1 hour prior to the liftoff as it was planned before initially. But it's fine anyway. Just launch it, just as this as everyone is saying, just lit the candle out now. So this tanks for the midsection and as well as for the second stage also, and second stage midsection, you can say. These tanks are made from tough orthogrid aluminum built to handle the extreme G forces the rocket faces when it comes back through the atmosphere. And There are large aerodynamic stakes on the AFT end of these tanks on the first stage, which helps give the booster better control and range during its descent and re-entry. Now for the forward section, this part is packed with technology. It got four movable fins for controlling the booster's attitude. By attitude I mean the orientation, so don't get confused with altitude. And as it comes back towards its landing site, this section also has all the connections needed for the ground systems, plus the interstage area that houses the second stage's two BE3U engines. It's kind of a similar design, you can say, for the SpaceX Falcon 9. There we do have a separate interstage, but here it's in the first stage only, you can say, and that is to the forward section of the first stage. Now, which are optimized for, we know that BE3U engines are optimized for use in vacuum of space. Now this forward section is also having some guidance, navigation and control systems, including an autonomous flight safety system to make sure everything stays on track. Finally, the pneumatic pushers are also there. Those systems up on the front that ensures a clean separation between the first and second stages before the second stage's engines fire up. Well, they are yet to begin the stream. Well, just a second. We are like 30 minutes away. So let me just make my timer to reset. 30 minutes and 30 seconds. So we are getting closer there. Click somewhere else. Just a second, guys. Just managing the timer so that we can have a good idea that when the launch is about to happen. 26 minutes and 50 seconds. Yep, it's correct right now. Would like to welcome Fairmed, right on time. Fairmed, you joined us. Filled with a little bit of ambiguity, we started the stream, but it seems they will be launching. Thanks for tuning in, Fairmed, and let me just quickly go through the details, as I won't be able to talk about them much. Now, where we were in the second stage. So the second stage is the one-time use stage that is, as of now, the Blue Origin didn't mention about any reusability of the second stage. Is for one-time use that runs on liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen with two BE3U engines that can swirl around. These engines put out a total of 1,423 kilonewton, which is about 320,000 pounds of force or vacuum thrust. The stage has a 7-meter, about 23 feet wide tank and shared cooling with the first stage, as I mentioned before, to keep cost down. The second stage tank itself is about 16.1 meters, 52.9 feet long, And if we add the two BE3U engines with their high expansion nozzles, then the total length comes to 23.4 meters, that is 76.9 feet for the second stage. Now, again, like the first stage, the second stage is broken down into three sections: AFT, mid, and forward. The AFT section has, as mentioned, that two BE3U engines, a crossbar thrust structure that can handle the load and equipment for long-lasting operations. It's also where the reaction control system, also known as RCS, and settling systems, which are used, which uses the triaxial thrusters, and those thrusters are placed in four spots along the thrust structure. The AFT section connects with the first stage forward section and also has one of the two umbilical connections for the second stage. Now, for the middle section of the second stage, we got the propellant tanks. Here, the propellant tanks on your screen, you can see the LOX tank is a little smaller compared to the LH2, that LH2 tank, that is a liquid hydrogen tank, and it contains with a bulkhead separating them. These tank barrels are again made of aluminium, similar like that of first stage, with an orthograde design, and the domes are welded aluminium. There's a single insulated LH2 supply line that wraps around the LOX tank. The forward section, now we are talking about the forward section for the second stage. So the forward section has LH2 tanks, forward skirt, and an avionic shelf that runs around the forward dome. This skirt is the main point of the mechanical connection with the payload on board, and it links up with the composite fixed adapter and the payload fairing. And as I mentioned before, there is a third stage variant of the New Glenn, but there is no concrete information is available as of now. And what information is available, it is outdated because Blue Glenn mentioned about that long time before, and it is quite obvious to assume that many things have been already changed and will continue to evolve for the third stage, so no need to discuss about that. Now here are some of the images of the first stage booster during its process of manufacturing in the Blue Origin's manufacturing facilities there at Cape Canaveral. Third stage actually, Pop Topic, as far as I know, that third stage, about naming about the third stage, I'm not sure that whether that will be the Neil Armstrong, but I did saw some of the information about Neil Armstrong and some of the blueprints of its design. It seems like the design, it won't be like this way they are showing, which even I showed. It seems like they will be having a kind of a starship kind of a second stage kind of structure above the first stage, and maybe that will be having the capability to carry the crew also. So let's see what happens, and you can be like getting through, it depends on them right now. So now here is on your screen is the BE4 engine, for a good idea how it looks like, although I will make you to see other images of the BE3 engines. All these are the prototype images or the rendered image, you can say. This is BE3U engines. Yes, it is on hold right now, 20 and 50 minutes. Although you said me, that's why I got to notice. So just a second. Again, I have to reset the countdown. 20 minutes and 50 seconds. They made it to hold. There is no other mention that why they made it on hold. Well, here are some of the images, real life images of the BE4 engines and BE3U engines. On your screen right now is the BE4 engine during its hotfire tests, during its initial stage of manufacturing. On the right now, you can see the BE3U engine on your screen on the second stage. And here I would like to pause the image and would like to tell you that the middle three of the engines, if you will make it in a x and y axis, the middle three of them are steerable. Okay, and those are made steerable so that they can orient the first stage during its descent. These are BE4 engines, 7 of them you can see on your screen. So only out of 7, 3 are steerable, rest 4 are fixed, and those steerable, as I said, because for the precision which is needed for the landing. Yes, Fairmade maybe it is for the plan hold because it is expected in their pre-launch countdown that they will be having a expected hold, but hopefully it won't be causing any negative issues that can made us to lose today's launch opportunity as well. Now here is a quick comparison between the BE4 engine and BE3 engine, BE3U engine. We know that BE3U engines is for vacuum, it is optimized for vacuum as it will be operated there only. I tried to make some of the more details which Blue Origin's infographic didn't provide it about the gimbal range. Although the gimbal range for the BE3U engines, it's not explicitly mentioned anywhere else, but considering that the what can I say, inheritance from the BE4 engine and BE3 actually to be precise, they will be maintaining the gimbal range around 5 degrees plus minus. So I'm not confirmed about that. Other than that, the throttle range, it's 18 to 10 100% for the BE3U engine, but for today's mission it is 40 to 100%, I guess, and it is adaptive with every mission. Actually they mentioned it specifically, and also I try to mention about the specific impulse for the BE3U engine, although the details are very much limited, like very hard to find about them. So maybe there will be some inconsistencies in this which I mentioned because As this is the first launch, we are not having proper clarity about all the details. So hopefully Blue Origin will be providing us with all the details in future. Now here is some of the system characteristics of the launch vehicle. Here you can see the, well, let me see it also. Here you can see the the throttlability for the first and the second stage. Although as I said there, for the BE3U engines is 18% to 100%, but as I said, it is adaptive to mission. So for the second stage, the BE3U engine for today's mission, it will be from 88 to 100% continuous, and for the first stage it will be 45 to 100%. Rest of the things I already mentioned before, but just for a quick glimpse, I am providing this slide to have a look. Now let's just quickly move on to the trajectory. With the NG-1's blue ring pathfinder payload on board, New Glenn will lift off from Launch Complex 36 from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station for a somewhat southeasterly trajectory, heading into its designated medium Earth orbit, indicated by that green line on your screen. And the red line indicates where New Glenn's first stage will land after stage separation. Just a little later, leaving the east coast. And just like SpaceX, this is going to be a off-the-land landing, a drone ship landing using autonomous spaceport drone ship, or for Blue Origin, how they say it is landing platform vessel 1, which is nicknamed Jacqueline, here on the east coast. So all it means that the first stage booster with tail number GS1SN001 named So You Are Telling Me There's a Chance, flying for its first time with this inaugural mission of New Glenn, will be returning, heading out to the floating landing platform for its landing. It is quite obvious the first landing on the Jacqueline it will be. The target orbit for the today's payload will be 2,400 kilometers of perigee and 9,300 kilometers of apogee with an inclination of 30 degrees. And the planned fairing recovery will be approximately 685 kilometers downrange. Welfare made, I'm not getting any update as of now. I'm also checking their X handle. It's they just said that they are entering into a hold for BHL. Now the new T0 will be coming, so yes, as you said, the new one is expected. So let's see, and also you guys keep me updated. I'm also keeping an eye. Now, Blue Origin's landing platform vessel, as I said, it is also known as LPV-1, named Jacqueline in honor of Jeff Bezos' mother, which is a specialized barge designed to support the New Glenn rocket launches. This naming follows a previous vessel, which was also named Jacqueline, which was initially intended for New Glenn's landing but was scrapped later on back in 2022. The construction of the LPV-1 initially began in Romania back in 2023, to be precise February of 2023, with the vessel launching in January 2024. It was towed to dam. I don't know last time when I said all these things, the YouTube auto caption was showing something else. So Damen, Damen shipyard in Brest, France for finishing works and commissioning in April 2024. And it initially used to have the yard ID Damen Mangalia 522520. So you can say that was the initial name for today's supporting landing platform vessel 1, that is Jacqueline. Now, after completing sea trial, the LPV-1 departed for Florida back in August of 2024. And this approach overall mirrors SpaceX's use of autonomous spaceport drone ship. Just like, of course, I Still Love You, a short for of Gravitas, and Just Read the Instructions, which serves as ocean-based landing platforms for Falcon rocket boosters. Now on your screen, these images which you are seeing, some of them were taken by John Cross, a highly talented photographer, and I strongly recommend checking out his X handle as he covers nearly all rocket launches and space missions. His work offers incredible insights and like uh, deep exploration of a space mission. Initially, he did cover the Polaris Dawn mission, and for his work only, we got to see some behind the scene images and got to know more about the Polaris Dawn mission. Now, let me just check whether the hold got over. No, yet not. It is still there. Now let's talk about the payload for today's mission. Now today the NG-1 mission will carry the prototype Dark Sky 1 Blue Ring Pathfinder, consisting of communication array, power system, and a flight computer affixed to a secondary payload adapter ring, and which will remain attached to the second stage. There will be no payload deployment. Okay, so this will help Blue Origin to test the overall system to gather critical information that will facilitate them to evolve more in upcoming flights, as this is the New Glen's first national security space launch certification flight. Similar to Vulcan, they have to go through a second certification flight as well before they can launch national security payloads, being a part of National Security Space Launch, also known as NSSL program for United States Space Force, and also for the Blue Moon lunar payloads. The Pathfinder on the NG-1, as I mentioned before, that it won't leave the upper stage, but will test out communications, in-space telemetry, tracking and command hardware, and ground-based radiometric tracking, which is very much crucial for their end, because all this will be needed if there will be any kind of new changes to be made for the next certification flight. Now, why the blue ring is so important and what is this all about? Blue ring is actually made to encounter the growing demand in space industry nowadays to quickly move and position equipment and infrastructure in multiple orbit. Just some days before, with the first orbital launch of this year, we had the Thuraya 4 mission. There was some sort of this kind of flexibility to make the orbital changes depending on the need for the Thuraya 4 NGS satellite, but you can it was not fully made for that reason. So maybe they can move and position the uh, satellite, but not to a full extent. But Blue Ring has that capability. Now, Blue Ring has the advanced propulsion and communication capability for both the government and commercial customers to handle these maneuvers, which are so much in demand, precisely and efficiently. The Blue Ring Pathfinder is equipped with storage and compute virtualization to demonstrate anomaly detection using machine learning. Its mission kit also provides high-performance radiation-tolerant compute and storage akin to today's cloud-based offerings. Hopefully, Paprika, but as of now, and even if they will be clearing the certification flight, they will be launching for the national payloads and the Blue Moon payloads. So hopefully sooner they will be starting a rideshare mission and there will be a direct competitor. And overall, this Blue Glen itself is a direct competitor of SpaceX's Falcon Heavy. And no, like Falcon Heavy is like still a little more powerful and capable than this, but actually if this is the workhorse for Blue Origin and Falcon 9 is the one for SpaceX, then of course this will be like the winner in that case of comparison. We are still now at the hold at T minus 20 minutes and 50 seconds. The countdown has not yet reset for a new expected T0, as they mentioned that it's forthcoming. Uh, there is no mention as of now for the new T0. We are still awaiting from that update when Blue Origin provided. It's 12 minutes from that time. Now on your screen is a notional orbital flight profile, is for a general flight profile, but the actual flight profile I'm showing you just a second. So this is the actual flight profile for today's NG-1 mission. Although the notional and today's one is the same, just there were some infographics missing. Here it is mentioned, so that's why I want to show you this one. Now there is a notional mission profile timeline as well, which is for both the low Earth orbit and geostationary transfer orbit missions. Now, most missions to the low Earth orbit and the geostationary transfer orbit and other destination usually follows a similar setup. And about the timeline, if we will be getting a little, I'm giving you just a rough overview that right before the liftoff, the 7BE4 engines on the first stage will light up in preparation for an automated final check on go no go determination. These engines ramp up to the partial thrust, and at that point Built-in diagnostic software will check the health and performance of each engine, similar like that of Falcon 9 launch for the Merlin 1D engines. Just before the liftoff, there is a check, and upon that check only, if everything is good, then only Falcon 9 is made to have the liftoff. So similar, the same approach is here as well. So once everything checks out, the flight computer gives the final commit to launch command, which lets the engine go full throttle, and the transporter ejector TE tilts back out of the way, and the hold down clamps releases, and finally the New Glenn takes off from the launch pad. So this one was the notional mission profile. Although all the events are not mentioned because this is, as the name suggests, is the notional one. So just the important sections I mentioned over here. Now today's mission's actual pre-launch timeline is here on your screen. T-7 hours, mission control center is staffed and systems are brought online to monitor and manage the launch sequence. We are still on hold. Okay. So coming to the timeline. T-6 hours, launch vehicle power up. The New Glenn rocket is powered up and onboard system begin self-checks to ensure all components are functioning correctly. At T-5 hours, ground support equipment including fueling system and environmental controls are activated in preparation for the propellant load. Approximately T-4 hours and 30 minutes, the process of loading cryogenic liquid hydrogen into the upper stage of the New Glenn rocket begins. This fuel is used to power the BE-3U engine, which is designed for efficiency in vacuum conditions. Just after 30 minutes, at approximately T-4 hours, booster liquid oxygen propellant load begins, where the core stage begins receiving liquid oxygen, a powerful oxidizer which combines with liquefied nitrogen gas to fuel the BE-4 engines for the first stage. And at the same time, at T-4 hours, stage 2 liquid oxygen propellant load begins. It's a simultaneous process. The upper stage is filled with liquid oxygen, and proper temperature control and the flow rates are crucial here to maintain the cryogenic conditions and to avoid the thermal stratification. Again, after 30 minutes, at approximately T-3 hours and 30 minutes, liquefied natural gas, not nitrogen, liquefied natural gas, the fuel for the boosters BE-4 engines is loaded, and as I mentioned before, LNG is one of the cleanest and highly stable and efficient fuel, ensuring a steady combustion process. Now, after 1 hour and 30 minutes from that event, at T-2 hours, flight termination systems are activated. As you guys will be quite familiar with the FTO, well, just a second, the countdown has again reset. Yes, Fairmade, I got the update. I was just keeping an eye there only. Let me just reset the countdown. It's getting 29 minutes and 3 seconds. So here we go. Reset it. Well, I made a mistake. "28 minutes and 20 seconds." Okay, so the countdown is matching. 28 and 8 seconds. Yes, it's matching. No issues with the countdown. So let me just quickly wrap up this pre-launch timeline. So where we were last time discussing, I think we got done with the boosters. We were done with the flight termination system. Now nearly at T-1 hour, at this stage propellant loading concludes, but the tanks continuously are replenished to account for the boil off, ensuring they remain fully pressurized until liftoff. At the same time around, final vehicle inspection is carried out. A comprehensive review of all systems is conducted to confirm readiness for launch, and any anomalies detected at that stage could result in a hold or scrub of the launch. Just after 40 minutes, at T-20 minutes, countdown enters a planned hold to assess weather conditions and ensures they meet launch criteria. And at this hold condition only we were just some few minutes ago. And when now they resume the new time, new countdown T0 with the new T0 time. So I guess there is no issues with the weather conditions and they meet the launch criterias. So fingers crossed. Now at T-10 minutes, they will be having a no go pole determination, which is again a final status check that is conducted with all the teams to confirm readiness for the launch. Each subsystem must report a go for the mission to proceed. Maybe we will be able to see that and we can hear those go from each team during the go no pole no go pole determination. Now at T-4 minutes, planned hold will be released. Terminal count will begin. The final automated countdown sequence begins at this point that marks the start of terminal operations where critical pre-launch systems are locked in place. At T-2 minutes and 30 seconds, tank pressurization begins, which ensures proper flow of the fuel and oxidizer to the engine during ignition and ascent. This step is key to maintaining the stability and performance. At T-1 minutes and 30 seconds, vehicle will switch from ground power to its internal batteries, and you can say it will be on internal power, ensuring self-sufficiency during flight. This marks a major milestone in the pre-launch countdown. T-20 seconds, the sound suppression system will activate, releasing water onto the launch pad to mitigate acoustic energy and prevent damage to the rocket and surrounding structures during the liftoff. At the same time, autopilot will be enabled. I think they will be starting the webcast. So there was some flickering around or what. So the onboard computers will take full control of the launch sequence at T-minus 20 seconds, managing all critical systems and ensuring precision timing. T-minus 5 seconds from liftoff. The BE-4 engines will ignite, reaching full thrust in a controlled sequence. Engine performance is monitored to ensure the stability before liftoff. And finally, at T0, we will have the New Glenn rocket lift off from the pad, powered by its BE-4 engines. And this will mark the start of the mission carrying its payload into orbit. So that concludes the pre-launch timeline. Let me just once again have a look at the countdown, whether I think they just made it some seconds to just a second, they just made it some seconds to differ with our countdown over the stream. It's now 22 minutes and 10 seconds. It's matching as of now. So what will be happening today? They won't be talking or something before the liftoff, just direct the liftoff. The launch way they will be covering. I guess those hosts last time they got somehow disappointed so much. Anyway, so now let's just quickly move on to the post-launch timeline and let's finish this a little faster as we are getting closer to the liftoff. So T plus 1 minutes and 39 seconds. This will be the point of the vehicle to reach max Q. The moment of peak mechanical stress on the rocket due to aerodynamic forces. Maybe Poptripika they might be, because at least they should be coming live according to the new liftoff time. No, there is no more time they will be saying anything. I guess they will be directly showing the pad and these things. Yes, maybe. I'm pretty sure about that. Well, actually, last time just seeing the faces, I got to predict that they won't be having the launch, which is very much hard to predict in case of looking at the faces of Jesse and Kate. You won't be getting any hint that what is going back around, although they are in a huge moment of stress. They're pretty good in this commentary and hosting an event. So moving on at T plus 3 minutes and 10 seconds, there's the first, the webcast has begun. So finally the host will be joining us. So let's just begin the webcast. I will be switching it to bigger screen. T plus 3 minutes and 10 seconds, the stage separation will be happening. GS1 main engine cutoff. Oh, sorry, it will be having the MECO. GS1 main engine cutoff, where the first stage will shut down its engines, completing its burn and preparing for stage separation. Then following that, at t plus 3 minutes and 12 seconds, just 2 seconds later, first and second stages, that is GS1 and GS2 stages, will separate, and first stage will allow the second stage to move a little farther. Then the second stage will ignite at t plus 3 minutes and 23 seconds, which is 11 seconds later from the stage separation. T plus 3 minutes and 36 seconds, 13 seconds later than the second stage engine ignition, the rocket will cross the Kármán line, which is the boundary of the space at an altitude of 100 kilometers above sea level. So now let's quickly move on to the webcast. We will discuss this later on.
Want to be anywhere else, here for it no matter what.
I hear you on that. Glad you're here for it. We introduced you the other night. You're a principal engineer on the New Glenn program. It's always good to have someone with a deep technical background here for the webcast. Now, picking up from where we left off a few nights ago, we had our first attempt at this NG-1 launch, and the team had the trouble a couple technical issues along the way which exceeded our available launch window, and we had to call a scrub.
Yeah, the team realized that the scrub was due to ice forming in a purge line on the auxiliary power unit that powers some of our hydraulic systems. Now, of course, auxiliary power units, or APUs, these will provide power to a variety of systems. It includes some of our hydraulics and other actuating surfaces.
So there we go. We have the view of the New Glenn standing tall on the pad for today's second launch attempt.
We know landing the booster on the first time is ambitious, but you know what? We are going for it.
And no matter what happens, we're going to learn so much. We'll refine, and we're going to apply that knowledge to our next launch.
And yes, that booster landing, we are really going to go for it. It's a key part of our first flight, and we really can't wait to see what happens with the booster. And yes, we recognize here at Blue Origin, it is incredibly hard to pull off, especially for the first time you try it, but you might even say we're just a little crazy to try it on the first flight.
Dr. Pika, they are a little nervous also like me. I guess it's the first time they are doing, or I didn't saw them because mostly I don't watch the New Shepard launches. Maybe they are new, or even if not, they are a little worried and bothered about, who knows, maybe there will be another hold. According to as per the weather it is concerned, today's launch is a little bit dependent on the weather.
That we have an early technology demonstration for Blue Ring on this flight. Now, this isn't the full Blue Ring vehicle. It is a Pathfinder featuring core subsystems that we want to validate. It's a non-separating payload that is going to stay attached to the second stage through its entire 6-hour mission duration. So it is another exciting day, and we're just so glad that you are back here joining us for this launch attempt. Once again, it's not just Denise and me. We got a couple other faces helping us bring you all of the action today. Why don't we check in with Maggie McNeese from our government team in our DC office. She's reporting from upstairs in Mission Control. Maggie, you there?
I am here so long as you're here and my friends here in Mission Control are here. I'm going to stay.
Okay, good. All right, welcome back to our next launch attempt. Maggie, do you want to remind our viewers where you're standing up there? You are just one floor above us. What's around you? What's the action?
I've got Mission Control right here on my right. Just down the hallway a little bit is our Launch Control Center. These rooms have our controllers, our engineers, everybody who's working to make this launch a success today.
Love it. Thank you so much, Maggie. We're going to patch you in as we go. Why don't we check in now with Eddie Seifert back at nearby Cars Park. Our Ford employees once again are gathering for a second attempt. They are hard.
So again, some screaming and people with energetic vibes there.
This is fun. We're having a blast out here.
Another day, another employee gathering to cheer on New Glenn. An odd question, because I think I know the answer. How are everybody's spirits down there?
We are happy to be here. We're so proud that we get to be together, a part of the community. We're, hanging with each other and sharing hot dogs and huddling together for warmth. But we're most looking forward.
It's good. Actually, last time they were also screaming, but that was more energetic. Today's one is a little
They've committed to
like they got to scream like the part of their screaming in the first launch attempt. So today is a little low, but still the vibe is up.
Absolutely love it. Y'all stay warm out there. We're going to keep you on speed dial, Eddie, as we continue with this show. Additionally, we also have employees at our other sites across the nation checking in and rooting for New Glenn. Let's see how they're doing. We have sites across the country. There we go. We've got Huntsville, Alabama, our headquarters in Kent, Washington. What up, guys? We can see you out there. We have our flag.
Now here is people are screaming in full excitement. That's a scream.
Where we work on all the projects, and then of course Huntsville, Alabama.
But Pop Tropica here, just see these people. These people are far more energetic than those there at the pad, near to the pad.
Ready to go. This is a big night for all of our employees across the.
These are actually these engineers and people who made this whole vehicle to design. So obviously they are emotional, and their excitement won't be going away no matter how many attempts they will fail. Or how many times they will be launching. They will be still excited like this. So now we are getting some audio feed as well from the pad. Yes, actually it's really emotional. Just imagine that something you made for such long time and finally it's going to happen. And that's not also, it's nothing like we are crafting something at our home. It's a rocket. So many emotions are connected with this launch. What today Jeff Bezos came, let me just see it in a big way. I can't. There is a bad man, but whether that one he is. Dave Limp is there, I guess. You will be there. I'm not able to notice. Bezos maybe. Yes, actually it's kind of like that way. You gave a good comparison. Like this emotion is hard to express even in words. So those engineers are, that's why so much energetic. Those were family members and others. So okay, kind of, my dad is making a rocket, come, let's see.
Because so many of them, including you and I, Denise, are ambassadors on behalf.
Although some of them, out of those kids and others, they will be future engineers, or maybe they will be one day making rockets.
Is Blue Origin's nonprofit to inspire and mobilize future generations to pursue careers in science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. These kids are tomorrow's aerospace workers.
Yeah, Club for the Future is a perfect example of how we here at Blue Origin can do something about inspiring the next generation. We have a program where kids, parents, anyone can draw on a digital postcard. We'll send it to space, and they'll receive it back as space-flown piece of art. And today, we have digital postcards that are actually going up to space on New Glenn.
That's just so fun. That's the kind of thing I would have loved as a kid, and I know that my children also love making those postcards.
All right, I understand we are ready for a go, no-go poll.
I guess we are coming at 10 minutes, so we will be having a go, no-go poll, and the countdown has entered in a hold. Right now, it's So we have to also manage our countdown over here on the stream. It's a hold right now at 11 minutes and 3 seconds. It is showing 2 seconds over here. Just a second. Let me make it once again to reset. Yes, 11 minutes and 3 seconds. Now, right now we are getting some thermal cam view. I guess it's a thermal cam view for the BE4 engines on the first stage. As right now they are in the process of chill down prior to their ignition for the liftoff. Now, this hold is normal, so there is no issues with this hold. Previous hold was also normal, but that one would have been for like determining whether there are some issues with the weather or for any flight they meet the flight criteria or not. So that one was a little critical. This one is as well, but not like that way. Here now we will be having that no go poll. Hopefully we can hear those teams saying go several times. As Paprika, one of our moderator here is mentioning, really we would like to have your thoughts, your questions and comments about this launch. Those of you joining us, we would love to hear from you. Today Noob is missing. I think he fell asleep, or maybe he joined another stream as other streams started earlier. They're having live feed. I'm not having that. So
All right, thank you again, everybody, for joining us for NG-1. We were very close to getting into that go, no go.
So they again reset the countdown.
Have had to go into a hold, and as you've seen there, we are now at T-minus 34 minutes. Unfortunately, there is a boat that has errantly come into the cleared range, and we're going to have to clear that boat out. So that is going to take us some time here. As we have said before, our #1 objective this evening is to get to orbit safely. And that includes not just the rocket, not just our teams, but everybody in the area, including people on boats. So with that, we're going to continue to watch New Glenn here for a moment. As we
I'm pretty sure that boat was sent by SpaceX. Just joking. But yes, it's risky, and that those areas has to be cleared down before a liftoff. And for that reason only, every time a space launch is happening, the launch hazard areas have been determined so that people there won't be going and getting hurt or to have a disaster there. So right now, today, not from Blue Origin's end, it's from a unknown boat, which is causing this again new. Wow, these views are so good. We are getting such close views of this first stage as it's now with full of propellant and is chilling down. These views are so cool. Actually, this kind of views we are not getting from Falcon 9 unless they are not explicitly publishing them separately. No, the pop speaker, just that I made a joke. Of course, I was seeing a post there that even Elon did wished for the inaugural launch to Jeff, so maybe they won't be doing, and it's not expected. Also, it's not professional. So just that I made a joke that maybe that SpaceX sent a boat there. Well, while we are watching this live view, let me just, although right now I can show you that screen for the post-launch timeline, but I'm just saying you those events. We are having enough time from the liftoff, so let me just quickly start from the beginning. At T plus 1 minute and 39 seconds, we will have the max Q. T plus 3 minutes and 10 seconds, which is 1 minute and 31 seconds later than the max Q event. We will have the stage 1, that is GS1 main engine cutoff, also known as MECO. Followed by that, we will have stage separation, which will occur just 2 seconds later, that is T plus 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Then coming up at T plus 3 minutes and 23 seconds, we will have stage 2 ignition for the second stage, and this will happen 11 seconds later than the stage separation. Then this is a fun, well, no, let me just say this one. Then after that, there is a fun part that at T plus 3 minutes and 36 seconds, the vehicle will cross the Kármán line, which is the boundary of space at an altitude of 100 kilometers above the sea level. Now, this one is a fun part, that at T plus 3 minutes and 49 seconds, which is 30 seconds later, 13 seconds, sorry, excuse me, from the Kármán line, and if we will be deducting, it's like 6 and 26 seconds later from the second stage ignition, we will have the fairing jettison, which is really a long time. Generally, we don't see such a long time for a fairing jettison happening after the second stage ignition. So maybe this is a prototype they are sending for that, or maybe they will be still collecting some data by doing so. So maybe for that reason also it can happen. But this is a little unusual. That's why I said you that there is a fun. This is a fun part. Oh, we are right now. They are saying that on other websites they are saying 12:33 here, means we are like nearly 30 minutes less than like 25 minutes kind of from the liftoff. According to the countdown, it's 28 minutes.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us for New Glen's first launch to space.
Wait, ladies, you guys will be talking other things. And so at T plus 7 minutes and 17 seconds, which is 3 minutes and 28 seconds later than the fairing jettison event, where booster re-entry burn will happen, where the first stage booster will perform a re-entry burn to slow down and control its descent back to Earth. 20 seconds later, T plus 7 minutes and 7 minutes and 45 seconds, booster re-entry burn will complete. The re-entry burn will be completed at that point, and booster will continue its descent. Now the booster burn will be lasting for 28 seconds, as I mentioned, and then T plus 8 minutes and 52 seconds, 8 minutes and 52 seconds, which is 1 minute and 7 seconds later than the booster re-entry burn completion. The booster will perform the landing burn. The booster will initiate a landing burn to further slow down and to have a proper thrust as it prepares for a controlled landing. And I don't know specifically that how long this landing burn will be happening, but it should not be lasting maybe more than 10 seconds to that. Also, I'm saying a little in the higher side. Now following that, at T plus 9 minutes and 28 seconds, which is 36 seconds later than the landing burn initiation, the booster GS1 will successfully touch down, completing its return to Earth if they will be planning to have the landing. And the AFT module or the aft module of the booster contains 6 hydraulic actuated legs, as I mentioned before also during mentioning the first stage, which will deploy seconds prior before a planned landing. Also, here is a thing worth mentioning that following the touchdown, a robot called Recovery Remote Operated Vehicle, ROV in short, is deployed to attach to the booster. And the booster timeline will only happen if the flight goes smoothly and if the booster detects any issues or any anomalies, it will steer away from the landing vessel, and it will, I guess, they will make it to splash down instead of having a disaster. Now T plus 12 minutes and 51 seconds, it will have the SECO 1, that is the first shutdown of the second stage engine, also known as second engine cutoff 1, SECO 1. Following that, just after 1 minute, we will have at T plus 13 minutes and 51 seconds, we will have the payload to get powered on, preparing for its mission. Then after a long time gap, T plus 57 minutes and 42 seconds, stage 2 ignition will take place, which is a time duration, like the gap of the time will be from the payload power on to this stage 2 ignition will be 43 minutes and 51 seconds. Second stage will reignite and will continue the mission. Then following that, I guess that burn will be lasting for 1 minute and 16 seconds. And then we will have the SECO 2 that is at T plus 58 minutes and 58 seconds, where the second stage shutdown of the second stage, the second shutdown of the second stage engine will occur, known as second engine cutoff 2, SECO 2. Then at T plus 1 hour, 59 minutes and 18 seconds, stage 2 orientation maneuver will take place, which is 1 hour and 20 seconds after then the SECO 2 event. Here the second stage will perform an orientation maneuver to point the payload towards the Earth, which this is also known as nadir pointing, NADIR, nadir pointing. Now when the mission will conclude is at T plus 5 hours and 50 minutes and 58 seconds, which is 3 hours and 51 minutes and 40 seconds after the stage 2 orientation maneuver, which I just mentioned before. And here the mission will conclude. So that's a long duration mission, and actually this mission will be such long so that they can gather as much of data they can, so that they can work on them in the upcoming launches and to make them in a good way. What happened, Pop Topic? I didn't notice. Please stand by. We are awaiting a wayward boat to clear the range. That boat is notorious. No made us like this way to think always to have flame on the rocket. Look, today also there is that reflection right next to that umbilical. He has a really Argus eyes.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We are at T-minus 20 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. As noted, we got down very close to our go-no-go pole, but then we noted an errant boat downrange, which we are still working to clear, so we've got a couple more minutes here. But while we've got a couple more minutes, Denise, I'd like to get a little deeper into New Glenn. We've got a lot of new viewers this evening. Do you want to give our audience a sense of what sets this vehicle apart from current and historic launch vehicles?
Absolutely. Well, to
I'm
start,
pretty sure about that, Pop Tripica.
over 320
Moreover, it's the inaugural launch and of whom? It's of Jeff's.
It's really hard
So
to describe what that means.
they
But
will.
another way to think about it is, you know, we all know and love New Shepherds. You could stack 5 New Shepherds end to end, and that's about the size of New Glenn.
So our viewers can see there on the screen there. That's we actually could stick one of those in
1,
the
2,
fairing
3, 4,
from
5.
So, you know, it's remarkable.
5 and quarter, you can say,
Talk about
New Shepherds.
Gradatum ferocitor, step by step ferociously. That is a pretty ferocious step we've decided to take.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. So New Shepard could fit inside of our payload fairing with even room to spare on the sides. Our fairings are just that big.
And again, as fun as that would be, we don't really need to ship New Shepard off to another planet anytime soon. But that said, it does speak to future capabilities, such as, say, moon landers, right? We're working on our Blue Moon lunar lander that we are working with our friends at NASA on, or other large vehicles that are similar in size to New Shepard. What's so brilliant about that 7-meter fairing is not, you know, when you pair the 7-meter fairing and all the volume that's in there, plus the power of New Glenn, we can take a lot of things to a lot of different destinations, orbits, planets, the moon with this rocket. And the versatility of this rocket is what makes it so important to not only Blue Origin with our own vehicles, but all of our other customers, right? You know, this vehicle is so large, and it's not often that people get to stand up close to a rocket. You know, and we showed this the other night during
Well, about the payload fairing, as they are talking about that, they gave an infographic during the before the first launch attempt, and there they say that more than 20 moving trucks with a standard of like 80 cubic feet capacity, it can fit inside the New Glenn's fairing, payload fairing, and Approximately 30 New Shepard crew capsule can fit inside there,
Just walking out of the flame trench.
and according to the
I mean,
previous details shared about the launch vehicle, it was claimed that side like
the water is going to come
two complete interplanetary spacecraft similar to like that of like, those bigger ones like Psyche, Europa, this kind of bigger one interplanetary spacecraft, it can fit inside the payload fairing of the New Glenn. So that's a really huge space they are having in the payload fairing for the New Glenn, and this one is the biggest one as of now.
You truly do feel like you're just an ant when you stand next to it, right? You know, but going back to it, one of the things that I think is a key difference between New Glenn and other rockets that might have lifted off this pad in the past is really that reusability. So while the scale of New Glenn is truly remarkable, I mean,
This may be my bedroom as well, Bobby, because my bedroom is also not such big. I will still have some, like my bedroom will be fitted. Moreover, I will have a spacecraft there.
because it's such a critical component to reduce
Bedroom with a spacecraft in a payload fairing. It is a nice thing to think even.
enough about how important it is. When we started this company a long time ago, it was all about reducing the cost of access to space. And you can really, at the end of the day,
Maid went away. I guess she went to
with vehicles that are reusable.
have the lunch.
You know, we started with New Shepard, which is a reusable vehicle. We took a lot of the same concepts and transferred that over into New Glenn. But go back to the size for a second.
yeah, I mean, so we all know and love the Saturn V, and rocket fans know this. Just like Saturn V and other big rockets, rockets fly in stages, and the job of the first stage, or what we sometimes call the booster, is to lift the vehicle from Earth up into space. The stages will then separate, and it's the second stage that powers our payloads into orbit.
And, you know, you guys, for some of our viewers who maybe aren't as huge rocket nerds as we are, the Saturn V is what took Apollo missions and astronauts to the moon. So you get a sense of the scale with that vehicle. And, well, you know, we might be just a little bit smaller than that, not by a lot. It's only about 10%.
Oh, it should be having that facility there, an emergency auto launch, as you said.
With this vehicle. So as we say, this is going to be our workhorse vehicle for decades to come, which is why we are so excited about this launch. It really is a historic launch in the sense that we intend, this is day one. We are opening a new chapter for not only Blue, but for spaceflight capability and for customers around the world to be able to put things into space for less. And who knows what that's going to open the doors to. So that's our baby. That's our New Glenn in a nutshell. For those of you that are less familiar with this rocket, obviously we're super proud of this vehicle, and we cannot wait to send it up to space in just T-minus 13 minutes and 50 seconds to go until launch.
Excuse me, I made my mic to turn off as I was filling my water glass. What I was saying that we must be agreeing that they absolutely having like quite good, providing good views of the rocket, which we are not getting from SpaceX end. Such close-up views we are not getting from them. Hope that boat went away and we will be having the launch. I guess they fast tracked the countdown. Now it's showing 13, and here it is on our stream is showing 18. So I guess they made the boat away sooner. We are right now T-minus 13 minutes and 20 seconds. To be precise, T-minus 13 minutes and 10 seconds. So we are getting closer. Again, I think at T-minus 10 minutes, we will be again entering into the go-no-go pole, which we were about to that time previously getting in, and that time only they found a boat there. So the upcoming go-no-go poll will be a final status check that is conducted with all the team to confirm readiness for the launch, and every subsystem must report a go to the to the launch director only for the mission, so that the mission can proceed. Again, would like to take a moment to thank all of you joining us today on our stream and supporting us. We are really glad to have you all with us. Right now, we are waiting for the go-no-go poll to come into effect, like in T-minus 10 minutes around. At that time, we will have a hold on the countdown, I guess, because that time previously we did had. Upon a successful resolution of the go-no-go poll, we will again resume the countdown if the countdown will go into an hold during the go-no-go poll.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. We are at T-minus 9 minutes and 40 seconds to go until launch. We are awaiting here the go-no-go poll.
These views are spectacular. Really, I'm amazed by this effort of providing such cool views.
And see if we are ready to go to space. Keep in mind that upstairs we have our launch control and our mission control room. In the mission control room, we have the team that is managing our Blue Ring Pathfinder payload this evening. As we mentioned on the last webcast, I'm particularly proud of our Blue Ring team. It's the team that I help lead here at Blue Origin. They have been working very hard on this payload, and they are ready that as soon as the second stage separates from the first stage, the fairings will deploy, and it is heading out to MEO, to Middle Earth orbit, where it is going to remain up there orbiting the Earth for about 6 to 8 hours or so, collecting various data, checking all of the various systems, primarily telecom systems.
So here is a view of the payload on board. Is the Blue Ring Pathfinder.
Go pending L-10 actions in work.
Roger, report when those are complete. Recovery.
Go.
PLI.
Go.
LSO.
Go.
OSM.
Go.
RC.
Go.
ESR.
Go.
AC.
Go.
And BMD.
Go.
LD is go as well. All stations LD on count 1 with the terminal count. Briefing all personnel remain in current positions until launch. Maintain operational silence in the control room. All controllers move to count 1 for launch. If a constraint is observed between now and launch, commit. Announce hold, hold, hold on count 1. Briefly state reason. OSM LD set hold fire switch to launch position.
Launch.
And LD is in launch. Guido, verify, abort, request, flag, false.
Abort request is false.
Roger.
So we got to hear the go no go poll, and I guess that it's a go. They say the abort request is failed, and LD is go for launch. So that's a good sign. Amid this ambiguity with the weather and all this kind of discussions going on around, that today also they will be postponing. Even I was thinking, provided the weather conditions given by the weather report given by the 45th Weather Squadron, but I don't know. I'm unsure that how they took that risk. But it's quite a daring job what they did today, and really I should be admiring their effort. And hopefully the weather at the booster site is quite good as well, so that they can attempt a booster landing. And if they can nail it, and today on its first maiden flight, this will be the second orbital class reusable rocket as of now.
At the age of 77, on board the Space Shuttle Discovery STS-95 mission.
Now, this gentleman led an incredible life. He died in 2016 at the age of 95, but shortly before he died, our founder, Jeff Bezos, was able to connect with the senator and tell him that we hope that he'd be willing to lend his name to Blue's first orbital rocket. And we have here a copy of the letter that he sent back. You can see it is really...
We are not able to see. Kindly show us.
When I first orbited the Earth in 1962, you were still 2 years from being born. And when I returned to space in 1998, Blue Origin was still 2 years in the future. But you were already driven by a vision of space travel accessible not only to highly trained pilots, engineers, and scientists, but to all of us. I'm deeply touched that you've named the second generation of those rockets New Glenn. As the original Glenn, I can tell you, I see the day coming when people will board spacecraft the same way millions of us now board jetliners. When that happens, it will be largely because of your epic achievements this year.
I get goosebumps every time. You know, he's the first American to orbit Earth, and I've seen that letter hanging in our headquarters building in Kent.
Yeah, it's one of our treasured artifacts. Everybody, we're at T-minus 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. We are very close. We are coming up here on terminal count. Do not go anywhere.
I'm seeing T-minus 4 minutes, but the countdown is showing T-minus 6 minutes. Well, fair mate. Go. At least we got the go from the LD.
T-minus 4 minutes and counting. Terminal count active. Safing timer started.
The countdown has entered its final phase with automated sequence controlling the remainder of the pre-launch operations. Is the terminal count where it begins.
T-minus 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Upending system armed. Magic charge initiated.
Our team is now securing all the commodities to our first stage and our second stage. They're also going to be draining and purging all the umbilicals that are supplied to New Glenn.
T-minus 3 minutes. GS2 hydraulic secured.
As you can hear those call outs at this stage, all those critical pre-launch systems are locked in place. We are at T minus 4 minutes.
Flight pressures, of course, this is crucial
GS2
for the
chilled pre-press
performance
start.
of our engines. Getting ready for launch.
T minus 2 minutes.
We're now going to be switching off the ground power supply and transitioning New Glenn to its internal vehicle batteries. When this happens, the vehicle is now powering itself. Let's do this, New Glenn.
T minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. The vehicle will be on internal power.
T minus 130. Power internal.
There we go. We got the New Glenn on internal power.
There it is. New Glenn is alive.
You can hear this scream and excitement around the pad. People are crazy about this launch.
T minus 60 seconds.
Now we are at T minus 60 seconds.
AFSS flight enabled. APU's running. T minus 30 seconds. GS1 at flight level. GS2 at flight level. Big water start.
That's a big water command. There's a water deluge. Here we go, New Glenn.
It's time to do this. Let's light this candle.
Autopilot enabled. T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 1. Lift off. All 7 engines at full thrust. Chamber pressures are good. Vehicles cleared the tower. Now passing 18 seconds into flight.
Finally, we have the liftoff.
Chamber pressures
New Glenn has cleared the tower. We all been waiting for this moment to happen for a long time. Such nice cool views of those 7B4 engines on your screen right now. You can see those flames there.
50 seconds in. Data quality looks good coming down from the vehicle. Chamber pressures continue to look nominal. 1 minute into flight.
Such a nice view of this liftoff.
Data quality is good coming down from the vehicle. Body rate response are nominal.
Space flight and laying
1 minute,
the
15
first
seconds into
bricks
flight.
as we build a road to space for the benefit of Earth.
Profile looks good.
Now I guess it got to be disappeared because of the clouds there. Okay, we are getting some thermal views at least.
Engines continue to perform well. Now passing through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure.
Now we are at the max Q point.
Data quality continues to look good. Chamber pressure is looking good. All 7
Pass
engines.
through max Q, maximum dynamic pressure. The toughest part of the flight on that vehicle, we have
passing 2
punched
minutes into
through it,
flight.
and New Glenn
Chamber
continues
pressures
its
continue to look
ascent
good
to
on all
space.
7 B4 engines. Acceleration profile is good. Body rate
Really filmed and probably because this looked so good. Now coming up, we are waiting for the MECO main engine cutoff, and the engine chill for the second stage has started as well right now, and the main engine cutoff will be happening at nearly T plus 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
2 minutes, 40 seconds. Approximately 30 seconds remaining in boost phase.
And here we are coming up
Chamber
on
pressures on all
MECO.
7
Main engine cut off. Let's stand by for that.
Continue to look good. Stage 2, RCS.
These are some of the views from onboard cameras.
Now passing 3 minutes.
Just 5 seconds later, MECO. And there we go, we pass to MECO and stage separation as well.
And we have ignition on both BE3Us. Chamber pressure is good.
So we got the second stage ignition as well. BE3U engines, and the vehicle has crossed the Kármán line.
Quality coming down from both stages. Looks good.
Fairing jettison coming up.
GS2 performing a pitch-up maneuver. Body rate response is nominal. BE3U chamber pressure continues to look good. We have good payload fairing jettison.
Fairing jettison is successful. So with that, it seems like those pre-launch, post-launch timeline, which was in discussion for this new plan, is wrong. That's because the
4 minutes, 20 seconds into flight.
Our booster is going to try to make
MECO stage separation and second stage ignition, as well as the fairing jettison, all happen back to back.
that is awaiting this beautiful booster to make a
So
land.
right now on your screen you can see where the Jacqueline, the landing platform vessel, is waiting for the booster, the GS1, to land on. Now it depends how the mission is moving on. So upon that they will be attempting a booster landing. Yes, Bob Topeka, really, I'm like really happy and amazed. Like they gave such a good, nice views after the launch. Yes, about the plume I'm saying only.
5 minutes, 20 seconds in. Less than 2 minutes now remaining to GS1 engine ignition.
Thank you again, everybody, for
GS1
joining
has
us for
reached
New
out.
Glenn's first launch to space. So far, 5 minutes and 30 seconds into launch. Everything continues to be nominal. A clean separation of stage 1 from stage 2. Stage 1, our booster. We are looking to land it on our landing ship, Jacqueline. There you see its targeted landing spot where the feather is there. And stage 2, carrying the Pathfinder for Blue Ring, will continue. It's
You can see a little difference between those trajectories for the first stage. First stage is blinking there, I guess it's in green color, and that white is for the stage 2. So according to that the trajectory what they are showing, it seems like it's falling towards the stage. GS1 is falling towards the landing platform vessel 1, that is Jacqueline. Hopefully they can make it, and it will be a
Atmospheric engine ignition.
milestone for them.
6 minutes, 30 seconds into flight.
So coming up here, we're going to see the middle of the 3 7BE4
Body
engines
rates
on the
GS1
booster
and
light
GS2 look
up.
good. Chamber pressures on both BE3Us.
This is going to
continue look good
slow
throughout
the
burn.
vehicle down, and then as the vehicle gets closer to the landing ship, the Jacqueline, the 2 outer of the 3 middle engines will shut off, and just 1 in the center will remain to help slow as well as guide the vehicle back to the landing ship.
7 minutes into
As you've
flight.
also seen on the
Yes, at 7 less than 10 seconds we will have the booster re-entry burn coming up.
vehicle is flying back to the Jacqueline, providing lift to come in for a nice, soft, and vertical landing onto the landing ship.
So right now we have the booster re-entry burn. Now the middle axis of those 3 out of 7 BE4 engines are lit,
Confirmed.
and they can gimbal, as I said you. Other 4s are fixed.
Body rates look good on GS2. continuing through its planned burn. 7 minutes, 45 seconds in.
I guess that burn is done because it was supposed to last for 28 seconds, up to 7 minutes and 45 seconds, which marked we crossed already.
Seeing good MR response on the V3U engines, seeing good throttle profile. Chamber pressures continue to look good throughout the burn.
Now at T plus 8 minutes and 52 seconds around, that time we will have the landing burn. Only one of the center engine on the GS1 will that time ignite to slow down the vehicle and to have the proper thrust so that it can land very precisely on the Jacqueline.
Now passing 9 minutes into flight. Continue to see data from both stages.
Although the stage 1 telemetry data is fixed right now on your screen, you can see on the bottom left side. This part is very much critical right now.
GS2 data quality continues to look good throughout the burn. Chamber pressures, both engines staying very close to each other. GS2 trajectory is nominal.
That's a good call out. GS2's trajectory is nominal. And you can see the stage 2 velocity is increasing.
3 minutes now remaining in the GS2 burn.
Whereas the stage 1,
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us.
we are not getting any difference in the change in the stage 1 velocity and altitude.
We're still waiting to understand what the situation is with the booster. Meanwhile, our second stage, GS2, continues
10 minutes, 20 seconds into
its
flight.
ascent, as well as its climb towards MEO, which is where it is headed this evening. We are still
It
waiting.
seems like they couldn't make it.
Our primary objective, getting to orbit safely. Let's
Yes, Pop Repica, even I am feeling so. As at least if they would have made it to land on Jacqueline, they would have provided us the
Tank pressure staying within acceptable limits.
footage of that. No one, they won't be missing at least that one, because that one is the main thing for today. Although the launch is an important part, they say that it is every time they are saying it's ambitious, but we are going for it. So even that ambitious part is the main part for people like us.
GS2 is now 1,700 kilometers downrange, traveling at
Still, there is no confirmation coming for the stage 1, GS1. What happened to it? Although the telemetry on the bottom left side of your screen, you can see they are paused right now.
data looks good coming down from Tidris.
Both for the velocity and the altitude for the GS1. No changes in the telemetry as it got paused. Hopefully they will be giving any
Reuse continue to look good, tracking nicely in chamber pressure.
information about that.
Responses are stable. 12 minutes, 10 seconds into flight.
Also, it is worth mentioning, as they said, that today's mission will be like at least of 7 to 8 hours long. So it's a long duration flight.
IAP vanish. GS2 is now orbital.
skip the booster touchdown part, and right now the GS2 entered the orbit.
12 minutes 53 seconds in flight. And we have engine cut off. Body rates look good following engine cut off.
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Seco,
First ghost,
we cut off the engines on the second stage. What does that mean? That means that we
So this is the Seco 1.
number one objective. We got to orbit safely. Congratulations, Blue Origin. Y'all have gone orbital.
And just couple of seconds later, we will have the power on the payload.
What a day. We see our teams down in Huntsville, our teams in Kent. I know the team out at Clark Park down here in Florida. They are all losing their minds. Congratulations, everybody. What a day. We are in space. We've got our Blue Ring Pathfinder ready to warm up, ready to start drawing in all of that great information. What a day.
Really such an achievement for them. Can truly understand about their emotions and feelings right now.
Hey, Ariane, we are so happy to be here at Rocket Park, our orbital launch site. This team is so proud that we got to orbit.
So although those notional post-launch timeline, we did cross that mark, and we didn't got the call out for the payload power on yet now. And as of now, there is no confirmation for the landing of the booster.
Fantastic day. Thank you, Eddie. To the whole team, again, congratulations on getting to orbit. Now, I know all of you are tuning in. We're still trying to get all of the data here. We seem to have lost telemetry on the first stage, on the booster. We very well may have lost the booster. We are still coming in with all of the information. I want to make sure that we get you the right information. But nonetheless, the main objective that we were going for this evening is that we hit orbit. And now I do have confirmation that we did in fact lose the booster. You can see from the map there how close physically the booster got to making its landing. Of course, we'll have all of the information on what exactly happened with the booster in the last moments. As you did hear, we did have the booster relight the 3 middle engines, which is what we were looking for. So things we know were good up until that point, but we just need to go through the data. And of course, after the show, on all of our social media channels, we are going to have more information on those details.
So there we go. We have official confirmation that the booster is lost and it couldn't make to have a planned landing on the landing platform Vessel 1, nicknamed Jacqueline. Although it's not a bad achievement, they could make it quite close to the Jacqueline vehicle, but as it was already planned and it was like that, the landing timeline, I said you that it will only happen if the flight goes smoothly. If the booster will detect some kind of any anomaly or any issues, it will steer away from the landing vessel. So maybe this happened and they made it to have the splashdown for the booster and not to land on a Jacqueline. So not bad. And actually, as they said, their main objective from the very start, they were saying just to reach the orbit. Other than that, anything that they will be having, it's a...
What was that rumble like as New Glenn was taking off?
It was
cherry on the cake. So
it was the rumble, the railings shook, but also it was so...
Yes, actually, Bob Tripica, I'm happy to see the launch. For such long it was hanging and we got to see in such a, like, it was not, what can I say, I was not even convinced that they will be launching today, and they launched it finally and they made it even to reach the orbit. Okay, a little disappointment with the booster, but no issues. Yes, Jeff was there, so today Just next to Dave, you can see Jeff on a black t-shirt.
I see the deputy of our new Glenn program losing it. This is a replay of the executives, of our team members as new.
We will be getting details about those Poptrica because as it is related with the certification flight, they won't be like they won't get any chance to hide any kind of information. They have to reveal it. So if the booster got exploded, or maybe they made it to splash down, whatever they did, we will get to know about that.
Stage 2 continues its mission up to Mio.
Yeah, so just now we have to wait and see what information they provide us. Hopefully there will be a proper clarification provided what they are doing Blue Origin from the initial stage. There is no proper transparency providing information from their end. So hopefully with this they will be keeping up to provide the transparency.
Congratulations, that is huge.
So we are not having even those bottom milestone which they were providing for the post-launch events. So right now I think no more they will be saying anything what is happening. Right now these ladies are only talking in between them.
And I'm also just so incredibly proud of our team. And I know we talked about the Rumble, we anticipated it, and I knew it was coming when we cleared the pad, and it's still, I'm speechless. It felt like an earthquake here at the studio. It was, yeah, I'm very emotional, very happy, and very proud.
Congratulations, high five, girl.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a moment to reflect on the key moments of today's mission. We met many of our objectives today. We exceeded them. So some of those milestones, we had a clean liftoff. Man, oh man, I will never forget the view of those 7 BE-4 engines and the blue coming out of those nozzles. We had stage separation, a clean stage separation, a clean fairing separation. And then you know what? We reached orbit. Now, we are still going to take some time to deliver our to deliver our payload to orbit. As a reminder, the Blue Ring Pathfinder is going to stay attached to that second stage as it orbits the Earth, collecting all its data, testing all of that very important telecom and avionics technology that is going to roll right into our Blue Ring program, to the Blue Ring vehicle itself. Now,
they could have made those important events to at least replay. I hope they will be replaying, because that is the most good part to see in today's whole event of New Glenn launch. Really, those launch and those plume coming out from those BE-4 engines, they really looked such good, and really they provided good tracking views as well.
I mean, all of this, the engineering that has gone into it, the testing.
And all the lessons learned too. You know, these are really complicated, intricate engineering systems that we have designed, and it's really hard to do. And every time we get that data and we can infuse into the next iteration of that, of course, we have a GS1-2 right behind us. So there's another booster coming, and we're just so proud.
We cannot wait to bring you that next launch. I'm raring to go. Denise, it has been a joy to have you here. Thank you for all of your insights, for your joy.
Come on, replay those, that launch view. I'm getting crazy to see it once again.
Let me just ask you, what are you going to remember the most from this evening?
I think seeing that image of the 7 BE-4s after it cleared the pad. I mean, again, we know from analysis and data what it's supposed to look like, what it might sound like, and we've envisioned it for years. And then to see it on the screen, it was honestly the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it has, again, as you said, we've all had these visions in our mind. We've had animations, like what we think it's going to look like.
Yeah.
But there is nothing like seeing that real booster, the real, did you see that that flame come out from the base of that vehicle as it took off. It is just insane. Thank you so much for being a part of today's webcast. It really has been an honor to be with you, to take part in our first New Glenn webcast. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us. To our
Giving the replay of the launch.
Unit that is supporting our Blue Ring Pathfinder. Thank you very much to you. You have been supporters of the Pathfinder, but especially of Blue Ring. You are believers.
Well, just for a second, to remind, today's launch marks Blue Origin's overall 29th successful mission, if they consider this one successful, and the first for this year. Now, just waiting for the replay for the first stage for the New Glenn's liftoff. Hopefully, they will provide that footage once again. And as the webcast is concluding right now, still they didn't provide any more clarification about the GS1, that is the first stage for the New Glenn, that what happened to it. Hopefully we will be getting those information on the social media.
So we've got hundreds of positions available, manufacturing jobs specific.
They will be providing it proper clarification.
Of course, we have our headquarters in Seattle, Washington. Just visit our website at blueorigin.com/careers. We would absolutely love for you to come help us build.
Really, I'm going to do that as well, Popjapika. It's like a little bit, I'm not getting such crazy like how SpaceX made it the time when they caught the booster, but at least, okay, fine. This one is not even bad.
All sorts of really cool mission gear.
It deserves some, at least 100 and plus replays back to back.
That we saw throughout the broadcast. It had the same decal. It features New Glenn on the pad at LC36, and it's surrounded by Team Blue.
Matt Nutt, thanks joining us. No issues, you stayed quiet. We can understand that sometimes people get to stay quiet and just to watch the stream. But thanks that you in the end joined us and got to say that you were there with us. Really love to have with the OS, and hope you enjoyed the stream and I could provide some insights and some more information to the stream.
Here for New Shepard 1. I was here for New Shepard.
And we really expect you to have with us in the upcoming stream. We do have the SpaceX stream coming up in some few hours from now. So there is also the issue going on about the weather, and hopefully they won't be having any issues coming up. So we will be having the SpaceX stream. So would like to have all of you joining us right now there as well, so that we can celebrate this Flight 7 of SpaceX Starship.
This historic launch. New Glenn, Blue Origin, we are so proud. You can continue to follow the mission and all of our progress on X and all of our social media channels. We're going to track the payload up to its final destination. We'll have more information on what happened to our booster, so stay tuned to that. Another big thank you to the Defense Innovation Unit and the many, many people at Blue Origin who spent years designing this rocket, building it, testing it, getting ready for today, and lastly, believing in this vehicle and in this program. I want to also say thank you to the FAA and to the range for supporting us. Today on our first flight, we gave them a little bit of extra work this evening. And to the state of Florida, from the governor on down, thank you so much.
Love to hear that. I got to be happy hearing that from you, that those details which I provided before the launch, you felt they were informative to you. And today, because there was some ambiguity with the webcast to begin, I couldn't deliver all those information. But still, if you want to know more about the vehicle, you can just go to the scrubbed one, which from the 13th Jan. Well, they provided the replay. Let's see, watch this first. This is really awesome, really awesome. Crazy views. Well, Fairmade, thanks for joining in, and thanks Pop Tripika for tuning in, and to Matt Nutt, thanks once again for joining us. And yes, if you can get some free time, please do watch it if you want to know more about the launch of the vehicle, of the New Glenn vehicle. Just you have to see that part where I'm describing the vehicle. There you can have some more insights about that. And about booster, what you are asking, maybe it's unclear. Look, they had that burn, and upon that the telemetry got frozen. So maybe it's unclear. There is two possibilities, that either it got to explode or either they made it to splash down. But it's quite clear that they didn't. It is official that they didn't made it to land on the Jacqueline. So now, out of these two possibilities, that the splashdown or the bursting of the first stage, like completely losing the GS1. So that clarification we have to get from the Blue Origin's end. So let's just wait because it's completely on there and they only can say about this. Yes, it can happen. Possibilities. Look, we can speculate that. It will be wrong to speculate that, but let's see. But yes, hopefully it would have not exploded and at least could splash down so that Blue Origin can gather some data for the next launch, where they can be a little provide those data to refine their upcoming launch. Well, thanks Asit Chakraborty for joining us, and you don't need to call me sir. You can call me your friend as well. No need to call me sir. And is explaining the mission, it's like I did so from very start. Now at this point explaining it will be hard and taking time, but still I'm just saying you in a quick way that we did had a successful liftoff. Everything went well. We went through the payload to first. Let me go to the post-launch timeline, and I can tell you up to which point we went in a good way. We went to the max queue. It went smooth. Miko happened smoothly. Followed that, we did have the stage separation for the GS1 and GS2, and followed that we had the second engine ignition, where like similar to like that of Space's MVAC ignition. So here it happened, and the vehicle did cross the Kármán line, that is the altitude of 100 kilometers above sea level. And following that, we did had the booster re-entry burn, and there is a point where we did had a little bit of disappointment that upon the booster re-entry burn completion, after that the telemetry got frozen for the GS1. So and later on we got the news that update that they lost the booster. So by that, what it means, it's unclear that they lost the booster. May again, I'm saying two possibilities: splashdown or complete burst off. So let's see what they give the update upon that. And unfortunately, following that, we didn't had any booster landing, but yes, we did made to reach the orbit. That was the main objective for Blue Origin's New Glenn NG-1 mission. They were saying so. So up to that much, it is good, and that much it happened as of now. And now the mission will be lasting for 7 to 8 hours, as they said, approximately. And they will be gathering data for their upcoming second certification flight. So that much it happened. And once again today, if this one is considered successful today, it one made the Blue Origin's overall 29th successful mission and the first for this year. So with that, we will wrap up our coverage for now. Be sure to check out our social media on X for latest happening in space industry and updates on upcoming launches. Hope you all enjoyed the stream, and I could make some information to provide more on the vehicle, to learn more about the vehicle. Hopefully I also met your expectations from the stream. We once again appreciate everyone joining us for today's launch. Wishing you a nice week ahead. Starship launch is awaiting for us, so don't forget to tune to us on AstroYonder. And specifically those of who joined us on the chat, Pop Pika and Fairmaid, our moderators here, Matt Nutt, Asit Chakravarti, thanks all for joining us and spending such a long time with us, enjoying the stream and celebrating this event. So once again, thanks for watching, and this is AstroYonder Live and me, Dipto, signing off for now, and we will see you next time.